Alright, this is our review of February 11th study guide. So for this one, reminder, you don't have to watch the whole thing unless you missed the whole thing, but instead skip around in the video after you've taken the study guide and check on any problem you got wrong or any problem that you guessed on. So, first of all, number 1, which statement is true? This first one says absolute value of f is less than g. Well, the absolute value of f, the absolute value of -4 would make that a positive 4. So f is going to be 4 and is less than g. Well, g is at -3. No, 4 is not less than -3. Option 2, we've got absolute value of e is greater than f. Well, the absolute value of e would be positive 5. So positive 5 is greater than f, which is -4. Yes, 5 is greater than -4, so that would be the right answer. This one you might have been tempted to do if you didn't miss the negative symbol. What this one says, and let me clear everything else off, it says g, or absolute value of g, and that would equal 3. It says 3 is less than negative absolute value of e. Well, the absolute value of e is 5. That's what it would be. However, then they put the negative symbol on the outside of the brackets. That means even though the absolute value brackets will make this a positive 5, because of that negative there, it's going to make it negative again. So this would be 3 is less than -5, which is not true. So, little bit of a trick on that first problem. For number 2, it shows the temperature at 6 a.m. on this thermometer. What is the temperature? Simple counting. Here's 0, here's -10. It looks like we're not quite halfway from 0 to -10. You can see, based on those number lines that I had you guys draw yesterday, you could have used that to help you, because this is a number line that's counting by 2. 0, -2, -4, -6, -8, -10. That's what's happening on this thermometer, and that's why I had you guys make those different kinds of number lines yesterday. Because a lot of times, they're not going to label every single number on a number line or thermometer. So number 2, our answer should have been -4. Going to number 3, almost just called it -3. Which thermometer reads 20 degrees below 0? Okay, so that should be pretty simple. We know it has to be less than 0. This one, well, here's 0, it's above that, so it can't be A. This one, it's right at the 0, so it can't be that. This one, here's 0, here's -20, and that looks about right. And this last one, here's 0, but no, they went to positive 20, above the 0. So, if I wanted to know which one is 20 below, it has to be this one. Matter of fact, this is the only one that's in the negatives. For number 4, on the Celsius scale, the freezing point occurs at 0. Which pair of numbers represents temperatures both above and below that freezing point? So we need a number that is above 0 and a number that is below 0. So option A, that is -10 and -20. Both of those, you can even look at these thermometers up here, both of those are below 0, so that won't work. Option B, 5 degrees Celsius and -10 degrees Celsius. Well, 5 would be right up here, -10 would be right down here. So yes, this one is going to be our answer. You might be tempted to say 0 and 10. The problem is 0 above or below 0? It's neither. 0 is the freezing temperature. So, it's not going to be C. Moving on to number 5, the average annual temperature during the years 1971 and 2000 was -3 degrees Celsius in Alaska and 21.1 degrees Celsius in Hawaii. Based on this data, which statement is true? Okay, so we've got -3 degrees in Alaska and 21.1 degrees in Hawaii. So option A says the average temperature in Alaska was 3 degrees below Celsius. Yeah, that works. And the average temperature in Hawaii was 21.1 degrees above 0 degrees Celsius. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with either of those statements. Those both check out. Let's see what the other ones say. The average temperature in Alaska was 3 degrees above 0. No, it's a negative number. It has to be below, so it couldn't be this. The average temperature in Alaska was 3 degrees below 0. Yep. And the average temperature in Hawaii was 21.1 degrees below 0. No, there is no negative symbol there. Therefore, it's positive and must be above 0. For number 6, the level of water above or below the average level at the Fish Mountain Dam changes according to the amount of rainfall in the area receives each year. I messed up that sentence really bad, but I'm not rereading it. So here we have our report. In year 1, their total rainfall was 12.8, which is, let's see, a gain of 3.7 feet. Year 2, we have 26.2 total inches of rainfall, which is a gain of 8.7 feet. Year 3, rainfall was only at 6.8 inches that year, and that means we were down by 9.3 feet. Year 4, 3.1 inches of rainfall. We were down by 13.6 feet. So, which statement is true? This first one says the largest difference between the average level and the level after rainfall was in year 2. It says the largest difference between these was going to be year 2. Not quite. See, yeah, going up, increasing by 8.7 feet, that is a big change. And mostly what we're looking at, by the way, for this one, is we're looking for this. We're looking for the change in the average water level, which is represented by this part. We don't actually need any of this information at all. But what I'm looking at is I'm looking for which of these options in this area have the most change. And while yes, adding 8.7 is going to be a big change, it's more of a change if I subtract 13.6. Because if this one, I'm going up by 8.7. This one, I'm going down by 13.6. 13.6 is more than 8.7. This is a sneaky, real-world application of absolute value. We're simply finding the distance from 0 for this part of the table. And that kind of spoils it. We are looking for the largest difference to have occurred in year 4. That's the answer I was going for number 6. Moving on to number 7. Which number, when placed in the blank, would make this inequality false? So there are 3 options that will work, but one that will make this false. Let's see, if I replace it with a 5, let's see, absolute value of 5 is greater than 5. Well, that already is all going to be false, but I'm looking at my answer choices and there's a problem. I might have to change this one. When you guys review it later on, this will say 4, because there's a bit of a problem. Technically, this would make it false, but that's not the correct answer. The correct answer should have been absolute value of -7, because the absolute value of -7 is +7, and that would also make it false. So when you guys go to review it, this number right here would say a 4, it won't say a 5 anymore. So don't worry about that. That typo will be taken care of. For number 8, which number is its own opposite? Yeah, I threw this one as a curveball at you. I wanted to see if you could kind of piece it together thinking critically. You can figure out the opposite of all these other 3 numbers, which means 0 is its own opposite. If anyone ever asks you what the opposite of 0 is, it is 0. It's not that 0 doesn't have an opposite, and I think tomorrow on your test there is going to be a question saying either 0 is its own opposite or it doesn't have an opposite. Only one of them is the correct answer, so watch out for that. For number 9, this is negative 12. And if you kind of think back and look at the notes we took on Tuesday, I did include about opposites that it can sometimes be written as a negative symbol. So what we're doing here is we are taking the opposite of 12. That's what this means. A double negative is exactly the same thing as a double negative in English and language arts. If I said I am not smart, double negative, that means I am smart. If it is not 12, that means it is 12. That's what we were going for number 9. A little tricky, yeah, but that's going to be happening, I think, on the test tomorrow. For number 10, which point best represents the opposite of negative 3? Okay, so we're looking for the opposite of negative 3. If you chose this one, then, well, this is negative 3. So good job, you found negative 3. We wanted the opposite. We wanted positive 3, which is located right there. The reason, by the way, it's not going to be these ones is because look at our number line. It stretches from 0 to 7. So you can kind of imagine they're counting by 1 all the way through. This is a normal space number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a normal number line. They weren't trying to mess you up with any fancy counting. For number 11, which number shows negative 2.25 graphed correctly? So, negative 2.5 or 2.25. So it's going to be negative. We know it's not going to be this. We know it's not going to be this. So we have to think negative 2.25. Is it going to be between 0 and negative 1? Or is it going to be between negative 2 and negative 3? It's going to be between negative 2 and negative 3. It shouldn't be this one because that would be the equivalent of negative 0.25. That's not what we wanted. For number 12, what is the coordinate of point A on the number line? It's weird that they called it a coordinate. I simply would have asked what is the value, but I'm not going to change that. So for this one, first of all, we are between positive 1 and positive 2. So let's get rid of the things it definitely can't be. That would be between 0 and 1, and that would be between 0 and 1. So it can't be that. It is either 1.30 or 1.40, or if you would prefer to think of it this way as 1.3 and 1.4, you could think of it like that. And for this, we're going to see what were they counting by. Were they counting by tenths? Were they counting by, like, how many sections were they counting by? And in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 sections. So yeah, counting by tenths works. And this one happens to be 3/10, which is the number I said when I got to the letter A here. I said 1, 2, 3. 3/10. That is where point A is located on this point. 1 3/10. For number 13, a number line is shown below. Which statement is true about this number line? So let's see, is it that r is greater than u? Is it that r is more than u? No, -5 is not more than +4, so that's not good. Is r less than s? R is -5, s is, that looks like -3.5. Well, yeah, s is farther to the right, and numbers that are farther to the right are greater than numbers to the left. So that works, that checks out. This one, r is greater than t, no. R is to the left, it is less than. This one, u is less than r, no. U is to the right, u is more. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. 2 more. This table shows the number of points each of 4 people had at the end of a math game. So Alex had 16 points, Brad had -14, Chet had 22, and Dave had -31. Who had the greatest number of points at the end of the game? Well, I think we can agree it's not Brad and it's not Dave, because they were both in the negatives, so definitely not them. Let's see, which one is more, 16 or 22? Gee, what a difficult decision. Yeah, Chad had more. They had 22 points versus 16 points, and then 2 sets of negative points. And number 15, last but not least, this one was ordering temperatures from least to greatest, lowest to highest. So for this one, we'll just start looking. We've got -11, which comes before -5. Yeah, that checks out. -11 is less than -5. -5 comes before -2. Yep, -5 is less than -2. That's where it would be on the number line. Then comes 0. Yep. Then 1, 5, 8. Yeah. So option A should have been the right answer. Let's see what's wrong with the other ones. For this one, 0, 1 seems good. 0 and 1 are good. And that goes to -2. No. -2 is less than 0, so it shouldn't be that far after 0 and 1. It can't be this. For this one, we have 8 and then 5. Well, already that's completely wrong. Not even getting to the negatives, that's wrong. 8 is more than 5. So why would I put 8 as my lowest number first? That makes no sense. And the same problem happens again with option D, because again, they put 8 first. If you chose C, you likely read this backwards. You did highest to lowest. So let's check and make sure there are no errors with the study guide. Let's see. Okay, let's make sure. Auto grading, let's see how we did. 15 out of 15, so there are no errors. So, like I said, when you get to question number 7, this one will have said 4. It won't say this anymore. And well, that's it. Good luck tomorrow. I'll see you later.